listening to Cain, Randy, and Brooke on Scratch the Vinyl.
Scratch the Vinyl.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to Scratch the Vinyl. You made it back, and we're so glad that you did. It's exciting times to be alive. It's the holiday time. It's the most magical time of the year, everybody. I've got my guest here. Fred the Skeleton is behind us, and he is poised to give you guys the best insight in everything that we had to say. So we're so glad to have Fred the Skeleton on. We have my man. I'm just going to bring him on right now. I'm not even going to do the whole thing. I'm bringing him on. He's my brother in crime. Him and I just got bailed out of Folsom Prison, and here we are, and we're ready to go. I have the chill man himself, Randy Wilson. Randy, welcome back.
Well, it's funny that you bring up prison because we went to the football game this last week.
We did. I found you, man. We played one of those games where you and I love to both go early, like ridiculous early. I think I was the first one in the gate that I went to, and I had to find you. I found you, and then I looked later on, and it was like, oh, he found me also. I love those games when it comes to the stadium. It's fun to have our phones and be able to magnify it all.
Well, there was, the part about sitting there with nobody around you when it's 26 degrees and the wind's blowing. Thank God we were on that side of the stadium because, oh my God, that would have been freezing. And it was already cold enough. And it started to snow during the second quarter. That's football, buddy.
It was magical. That's exactly what I said too, Randy. As it was going on, I heard the people complaining around me, and I'm like, look, guys, this is football. This is what I signed up for as a kid. The second I could, hold a ball, I was out there in the snow. I was like, these guys got to be loving it. We're in the Midwest. This is just a massive clash between two Midwest rivals. We'll call them rivals for now, Husker fans. And it was a blast.
Well, your team put a beat down on my team.
Man,
not much I can say. Except for I do have to say something to Husker fans out there that tried to accost my good buddy Cain wearing his Iowa gear after the game. That's not us as fans. So stop it.
It's not. You're absolutely right, Randy. I'll say this. I sat in an area with the best feeling. I had nothing but the best Husker fans around me. Everyone was cool. The ladies in front of me, we even high-fived whenever each of our teams scored. I high-fived them when the Huskers scored. They high-fived me when Iowa scores. I mean, that never happens, guys. I had a lady offer me half of her hot dog, and I said, I never share a hot dog.
I was going to say, how was it?
I couldn't do it, man. My germaphobe nature came out, and I couldn't do it.
Well, I want you to know I was this close to catching one of the hot dogs from the Wiener Slinger. It was about 4 rows in front of me, and I reached out. I almost went down. It could have been ugly. I always want to catch one from that spot. They always shoot a lot of them in my area. They're just always just out of my reach.
Yeah, the same with me in the section that my uncle and I are in for his season tickets. It's always just kind of within reach. Like you're reaching up, you think for sure you've got it, and then it falls about 8 rows in front of you.
So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to have us design a Scratch the Vinyl Husker shirt. So I think the thing is I'm going to get caught on camera catching one of those hot dogs so we can advertise.
I love that idea, man. That would be.
It'll go viral.
It'll go viral.
Well, it'll go viral because I'll fall into 4 rows, knock a bunch of people over, and then throw up I caught it, I got it, and I'll piss 30 people off in that section, and I'll have to buy new tickets for next year.
Well, it's, speaking, we're talking about the greatest fans in the world. Like I said, everyone was great to me. What Randy's referring to is, and this is, okay, let's be clear, Husker fans. This is a 99.9, whatever, just keep adding numbers to it. So there's just a small fraction of a percentage. And those are the idiots. And so I was leaving the stadium later because I like to I like to stick around, let everybody clear out. And I thought I was in the clear. I had my little Iowa gear on. I was by myself. I was walking out the east side, and I was approached by three college age, I was frat looking guys with a girl. And I'm gonna tell you guys, they low key assaulted me, and I'm really kind of like frustrated, but I'm really proud of myself for not being old Cain, which would be, oh, I'm gonna fight these guys whether I get my butt kicked or not. But I didn't. I stayed calm. The guy put me in a sleeper hold, tried to choke me out, and I put my arm up and kind of blocked it. And then him and I kind of like wrestled a little bit, and I got out of it. And he basically just told me to go back to Council Bluffs. And I said to him, dude, I live here. I probably live in the same neighborhood you do, like probably a couple houses down. But the guy was pissed at that point. He told me to go back to Iowa, and I just quickly walked away. So there's a lesson to all you Husker fans. You have to know this. Don't hate me for being a Hawkeye fan. I'm a Nebraska fan as long as they're not playing my team. Okay. I go to all the games. I've been going since I was a kid. I sold papers at the stadium, back in the days. I was a little fat kid with my little chubby friend, and him and everyone would give us tickets because we're cute little fat kids, stumbling around, eating off of people's trays and just trying to give people papers. So don't hate me, and don't even hate the people that did that to me. Just know that, just tell your friends if they're like that, just be better. Just don't treat the other fans like this. So this is a lesson to be learned.
So that I go once a year, have been going at least once a year for the last 50 years with my aunt. So big shout out to my Aunt Gail, who always makes it a special day for us to go down, and we talk about our memories of other cold, rainy, crappy games that we sat through. But it's the whole experience, and we love it. And I'm so fortunate that I have that bond with my aunt, that we get to enjoy a little Husker football, win or lose. I know this is a music show, and we've started out talking nothing but football, but I promise we'll switch over. But it's only because this show is a little post Thanksgiving, so we're reflecting a little bit.
We are reflecting. It was great to be around family. You got to go to the old family farm and hang out with family a little bit, didn't you?
I did. We went out to some family out in Columbus. It was kind of a smaller group this year, but you know what? The food is always great. Getting together to see everybody is always tremendous. And I get to talk about the show with everybody. They're like, what's going on? And I tell them and get them excited about what we're doing. And we play little cards and, head back to Lincoln. Just a perfect day.
It is. It's always great to be with family. Another reason I love this time of year, and a lot of you people are going to really hate me after this. It's as if you didn't hate me enough for being an Iowa fan. Now I'm going to tell you guys, as soon as Halloween switched over, I switched over to the dial of the radio station of choice that plays it all day long, and I have been listening to Christmas music, even playing it on my guitar nonstop. I love it so much. So Randy, I have to put you on the spot, and I have to ask you, what is your favorite Christmas song out there?
Am I excluding Mariah Carey?
You're welcome. You're welcome to mention Mariah Carey, but just know she'll unleash hell on everybody when you mention her name, like Candyman.
All right, I can tell you, it's very simple. There is a version of White Christmas with David Bowie and Bing Crosby, and it's my absolute favorite.
That has to be killer. I mean, just the two of them together has to be. I'm sure I've heard it before. I can't think of it because my mind is filled with so many versions of everything. It's just I just watched a Christmas movie with my wife. It was called Last Christmas, and I think it came out a few years ago with the girl from Daenerys, from Game of Thrones, and it's a British movie, but it was fantastic. It was centered around George Michael and all of his music. And it was just, if you haven't seen it, like, to me, it's one of those sleeper instant classic Christmas movies with a great message. And I'm not going to do any spoilers. Obviously, I'm in love with her because she's hot And she's kind of like a hot mess in this movie. So like I melted the whole time. And I gotta say, if you haven't seen it, please watch it. It's amazing. But just centered around George Michael, like I forgot how great George Michael was. Like everything George Michael did was fantastic. So now it's got me in my feels and wanting to listen to that too.
What's that? What's the Christmas song he came out with?
Last Christmas, right?
Last Christmas. That is the song. Yeah.
I gave you my heart.
Right. That's it. Actually, honestly, I actually like that song. I think it's a great Christmas song.
It's been covered by a lot of people, and they do it justice, but obviously the original's always great, right? But yeah, people forget that about George Michael. And so I would suggest that. But my favorite one is always going to be Blue Christmas, Elvis's Blue Christmas. It's just, I am a very sentimental guy. I love that one, just socks you right in the gut when you hear it. Like you can feel in the way the king delivers it, man, you feel that emotion. So when I'm walking through the mall and I'm rifling through Ross's or one of those chaotic stores and that comes on, my whole world just changes. So that's my favorite.
Do you think kids today get that same sense if they hear that? If they hear Elvis come on like that, do you think they have a clue?
I don't think they have a clue at all. I mean, I have two teenage girls that love Christmas music, but I don't think that that's probably in their top 4,035.
I mean, you're probably on the edge, right? To me, you're probably on the edge. Like there wasn't a whole lot of Elvis influence when you started really getting into music. I mean, obvious connection to Elvis.
Now, when I was younger, I didn't understand all this, the King talk and Elvis. To be honest with you, my perspective was Elvis sucks when I was younger. But mind you, I also listened to Limp Bizkit and all these bands, Korn and everything. And my opinion of like Led Zeppelin and all these bands was also these bands suck because our parents like them, right? So it's lame to me. And then I like sobered up and got older and really understood music. And I was like, oh my God, I was such a foolish idiot.
Well, I remember where I was when I heard Elvis died. I heard it on the radio, and I remember where I was at exactly. I can picture it now. It was it was such a big deal.
Well, the only thing I think that compares to that is, and we were just talking about this before, and we'll kind of get into some of the other stuff surrounding it, was the death of John Lennon. I mean, I can only imagine that had to have been one of those days where people cried and the music died, right? It was one of those moments where you kind of wondered to yourself, kind of like when Tupac was killed and when Biggie were killed, or even when Kurt Cobain killed himself, supposedly. Um, I, it was mind blowing to us. So I can only imagine. And then now, like being a huge Beatles fan, and I know you are, Randy, but I came into it later in life. It wasn't that I didn't think that the Beatles were good. It just didn't interest me until I became a musician and realized, oh my God, the musicianship that they put forth is what everybody's trying to obtain. They are the textbook.
For me, it was there. There was a certain time period. I was, I'd gotten married, had kids, life was life, and you find yourself really connecting to these certain old songs. And then once you get into it, you're like, I mean, literally like stuck. And for me, of course, it was a ton of familiarity. I knew a lot of the songs. And then of course I dove into all of John's solo work and like and I mean this sincerely during Christmas time, like John's solo album, would be in my CD player 24/7. I mean, Christmas Day, I'd be playing John Lennon. And it just brought out that certain feeling that I don't know, nostalgia, uh, you know, that real Christmas spirit, peace on earth. Like, I don't even know how to explain it except for like, I don't do it as much, like, I don't do it anymore now, but you find yourself at a time, at least at one time in your life, you get absorbed with the Beatles. And of course, I think we've talked about this, but of course, they got the new anthology on Netflix right now, and I'm up to episode 4. How about you?
I'm up to episode 2, but I plan on burning through at least 3 or 4 if I can, like within the next day or so. It's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I've seen a couple anthologies in the past. Like back in this time period, I was just talking about the music. There was a couple big anthologies back then, and this one, however, is really taking it. I mean, to me, almost literally day by day. You're seeing a lot of footage that really was happening at the time, the whole time leading up to coming to America, where it shows a lot of intricate clips of them going to Hamburg and coming back and kind of finding their place back in London and Liverpool and starting to get popular. You know, what footage they don't have, they still have the old clips of the videos from all the members talking about it. It This is a pretty good one. Of course, we're not even I'm not even a third way through so far, but I'm being brought back to that older music and how they started. It's just, to me, it's just so good.
Oh, it's unreal. I can remember when I watched the Get Back documentary and the behind the scenes of like the band kind of cracking and my favorite part of it was seeing the behind the scenes, like day to day stuff of like the band itself. Because if you're not in a band, you don't understand that dynamic. Here's a guitar player over here that's tired of this person's crap here. Maybe they're tired of this person bringing, another person to the gigs all the time. It's like there's all this behind the scenes stuff, and it was such a cool peek into their their existence at that time and how they were getting ready to break. And I loved seeing that dynamic. My favorite part of playing to all of these is exactly that. It is I like to grab my guitar and I like to play like once the music starts. I know it's so nerdy, but this is how I learned how to play guitar. Just like with records, I like to play with the band. So I like to sit there with the Beatles and try to figure out, hey, what are they doing there, or what are their hands doing, and all that. So it's like my favorite thing to do. It's such an intimate way of loving the band to really get to know them, as to be a part of the band. So that's Get Back was amazing to me, but this anthology is shaping up to be another freaking classic.
Well, a couple things to me when you look at both of those is in this current one on Netflix, it really shows their kind of sarcastic humor. Like there really was a true brotherhood, and how they dealt with the media and people. They had this certain British, like, they were definitely not posh, right? Uh it's the way they dealt with things, and I mean, they were young guys. I mean, 17, 18 years old. So they weren't taking it, in some ways they weren't taking it very serious. Hey, Christmas is coming up, and you just need to go to Backtrack Records. They've got everything you need to put under the Christmas tree for that right musician in your family. So do me a favor. For the holidays, check out Backtrack Records.
Hey, everybody, it's your boy, Cain Stevens, and I've been talking about Roots Music Shop for quite some time. And I'm going to tell you guys, I mean, Mr. Chill can attest to this. Nothing makes you cooler, and I mean nothing, than buying an instrument. So with you having a guitar, your instant cool factor comes up. The other day, Randy was telling me, I'm already kind of a chill guy, a cool guy, but what's going to take me to the next level? And so, I send him over to Roots Music Shop. He buys a guitar, and is the second he carries it out, Randy, tell me what happened.
I realized I didn't know how to play it. So I signed up for music lessons. Now I'm going to learn how to play the guitar, and I'm going to be cool by Christmas.
He walked right back in there, and he asked them, "Can I sign up now for lessons?" Yeah, because they do have that there. And not only that, but he realized that his strings were. were good, but they weren't the gauge that he needed. So then he asked Ryan to switch the gauge and do all this stuff. And I'm telling you guys, once he learns to play a few notes on that guitar, the women are going to throw themselves to the ground in front of him. He's going to have to then fight them off with the guitar. So go down to Roots Music Shop where your instant cool factor goes up. If a guy like me can get a girl, anyone can.
If you guys see me in my Santa outfit playing my guitar, Merry Christmas. Later on, when you watch that Get Back special on Netflix, where they're at the end and they're recording in that giant studio, and they got the kids, the wives, the girlfriends, and for all the talk of everything you heard over the 50 years of all the crazy things of what happened, really all you see is four guys that literally knew how to play with each other. Like, put everything else out the door. When it was time to put the music together, they were in tune.
Well, and I think Yoko gets a bad rap. I know that that's kind of the joke because everyone wants to blame somebody for why the greatest band of all time broke up. But, after listening to countless interviews with people who were around the camps and everything, who were around John and Yoko, it sounds like Yoko was really a beautiful soul and somebody who was actually pretty good for the band and good for John. I think that it's just one of those things where it's the inner band stuff, right? I mean, John and Paul had not like a love affair of sorts, but it was in another way where they had a true admiration for each other and loved each other. I could only hope to have that. The closest I have with that is right here on this show. I feel like Randy is my, John or Paul, depending on who we want to be that day when it comes to it. Him and I are very good at bouncing back and forth with each other, but I've always wanted that musically. And I think that I do want to add that, that I don't think that Yoko was as bad as everybody said. So what do you think, Randy? I mean, if you had to analyze it as a huge fan now watching all this stuff, what factors do you think played and why the Beatles broke up?
Well, I saw a specific interview with Paul that pretty much explains that they were just miffed from the standpoint of the girlfriends, the wife, everything. They were always around except for in the studio. He talked about how when they're in the studio, it was like that was the work, and so it was kind of like, what the hell, John? Why is somebody else in the studio? And that's where that kind of subtle riff started. Um, and so Paul talked about that, and so ultimately, so he did this. I think this first interview I saw that he did with Howard Stern, which was, Howard says, okay, Paul, everybody talks about how Yoko broke up the band, and I guess we'll never know. And Paul says, well, I do. And Howard says, okay, who did it? And Paul says, John. And Howard was like floored, and it basically, Paul explained. He says, look, John had come to us about 7 months before and said he wanted out, and it wasn't, they weren't mad about it. It was he had found a soulmate in Yoko, and he was wanting to explore other things and live life. You you understand this, being in a band, especially at that point. They had been together for 10 years. They weren't touring anymore. So there was this, the huge thing of where they toured for many years and they were on the road together. They lived and died together, and now they weren't doing that anymore. They still wanted to put music together, but they were just now starting to live lives. And so you then had this kind of riff because at that point, then Paul was, was getting ready to put out a solo album, and yet they still had a Beatles album coming out at the time. I think it was Hard Day's Night, I think. And so they were a little miffed about that they didn't want the two albums to compete against each other. And so, then they have to start getting the lawyers involved. And so there was a time, of course, then a lot of the people and a lot of the fans thought it was Paul breaking up the band because this obvious connection that he's putting out a solo album. But it had been in the works for a while. And I'm just going to finish off with what you brought up. You said about Yoko was Paul had always talked about how him and John patched things up. And he talked, what's funny was he talked about how, during that time of Riff where they actually did diss songs at each other, like we're talking East Coast, West Coast rap stuff here. Like they were cutting deep, and Paul talks about it. He was hurt, his brother, his best friend, cutting deep. And, but they patched it up, and he talked about how fortunate it was to have that happen. He said, because, not knowing, 4 years later, John is shot. And he says, how could I have ever lived with that, not having that opportunity to patch things up with John, and had he, tragically taken away, and I would have never been able to come to terms with that with John. So he felt very fortunate that at least happened before the tragedy stuck. And he said, the one thing I remember the most is afterwards, Yoko had pulled him aside and said, John, John really loved you. So to me, there it all is in a nutshell. Yoko wasn't as bad as everybody thought. Everybody's thoughts of how they broke up aren't true. The over exaggeration of fights was just media hype. The bottom line is they were all brothers in a band and they all loved each other.
Well, let this be a cautionary tale to all you. We know there's a lot of musicians that listen to this show. I can tell you that from my experience, this is the best cautionary tale is treat all of your time with your bandmates like it's your best times, like it could be your last time, because it could be. There was a moment in some of my bands where I didn't know it at the time, but this is my last time playing with these guys really, live. I didn't know I was going to have heart problems. Luckily, I got to play a little bit with the Low on Cash band at one of our events, but it'll never be the way it was where we're gutting it out an entire night and we're winning the people over in a small town, or when I was with Drinking Money, all these different bands. So it's cautionary tale, everybody. Love the people that you're with. Enjoy the fact that you're playing music and you're out there, you're a paid professional, and you're getting to do it with your friends. And just know that every day and every moment could be the last time that you play with that band.
I always hear that. I remember this great quote that says, somewhere out there, one day you and all your friends went out to play, and it was the last time. You just didn't know it.
That hits me so hard. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like I think about all the backyard football games and stuff where I'm talking like I grew up in Air Park. I'm talking the entire neighborhood came together to this one field and we all played. And at one point we were all, we were in the heat of battle, but we weren't really taking advantage of the opportunity to enjoy it. But that was probably one of those times was the last time we'd ever play there. And now I drive by it and it's just a sad place to me. It's a place of nostalgia. It's a place of love. And it's a place where I look and I see all the ghosts of all of us, running around and having a great time. And now it's just an open field. So I love that, Randy. That I've seen that too. And that one always kind of socks me right in the mouth.
Well, did you think we were going to talk football and the Beatles today on today's episode?
You never know when we don't have, aside from Fred kind of lets us do our thing. He's very tongue tied most of the time. He never really has much to add, but he is here in spirit. And I didn't know we were going to get into it, but I love the conversations that we have when it's just like no living guest on the show.
Well, this is when we normally have Brooke on, and Brooke becomes most of our comedy release of everything. And I think most of our fans that are following, if you're still listening at this point, Brooke's getting married. And so she's like all tied up in this getting married stuff. Well, I mean, we're probably going to have to get her a pager or something. Do they still have those? They still have those? We just send 911, or she has to send it to us, 911, which means we have to come and save her.
Or for her, we would send boob, right? We would send
Boob.
8008. It is always weird to not have Brooke on. She is the comic relief. I enjoy being around her so much. She's one of those people, one of those souls where if you get the opportunity to know her a little bit, you realize how great she is. You know what I mean? Like she just she exudes fun all the time. Like when we went to Bruce at the zoo, I told you guys this before, but I can be kind of like a stick in the mud when I go, like kind of like a snobby nerd music guy, like, oh, I want to watch these instruments and I want to do all this stuff. And she brought the fun out of it all. And so pretty soon everybody's partying. So that's the only example I can give to you guys is Brooke is a party in a person at all times.
Well, of course, for me, Brooke semi plays this introvert at times. And then I get just a couple Jameson green tea shots in her, and she wants to duet every karaoke song with me, and just chaos ensues in the most fun way.
I found it hilarious at the Madness at Madsen show, when I was kind of stressed out, the show's taking place, karaoke's going on. It was literal madness. Brooke came over and she's like, do you want me to run it for you? And I'm like, no, Brooke, I'm good. Like I did this for quite a few years. Like I'm just stressed out because I've been out of the game. But I wonder what a show would be like with Brooke at the helm. I'm talking start to finish, man, gutting it out.
The rotation would not be, let's just say, functionable.
It would be like, well, I don't want to make this person feel bad, so I guess they're next. And then I don't want to make this person feel bad, so I guess they're next.
I'm going to call Brooke out right now. She'd be a total diva. Yeah. She would sing with everybody. That would be the show. Everybody's coming up. We're all singing. There is no structure. Whatever song in fact, she'd put the Beatles, Here Comes the Sun. I'm just telling you right now. It'd be how does it go? Here comes the sun. Do do do. She'd be like, everybody do do do, and the whole crowd would be going. That's how that would go. Hi, Brooke.
Yeah, hi, Brooke. We miss you, Brooke.
So when she sees this later, all you fans, she's going to be mad that she wasn't on today with us.
She is.
We called her out.
The heart grows fonder. That's the thing. When one of the members is away, right? When our Beatles, our STV Beatles here, when one
or is she like Pete Best?
She could be Pete Best. I don't know.
Brooke will have that conversation later. Because I'll tell you what, I'm going to guarantee this. The next episode that's a non-guest interview, a non-guest show, we'll be doing our Christmas special.
We will. And if she doesn't come on, I'm going to walk in hamburger, and nobody wants that. I'm telling you right now, Brooke, I'm challenging you. You must come on, or Meat Feet is now mine. I'm taking over the domain name. I'm doing the OnlyFans, and they're going to see my big Bigfoot feet all crusted and walking through that thing.
I thought that would be a great, crazy stunt to get a lot of, views for our TikTok. And then I started thinking to myself, I don't know if I want those kind of fans listening to our show.
I was looking at the long game, Randy. I was looking at ketchup as a sponsorship, like Heinz ketchup. I was looking at okay, here's something I need to test you on. I think because you cook. How the hell do you pronounce the W sauce name? Let's test each other. I think it's Worcester sauce. What is it?
Worcestershire.
Is that what it is?
It's Worcestershire sauce.
Well, anyways, I'm trying to get a sponsorship from a low level, not the highest ring one, but like somewhere on the low level, like a generic version. I need
The Hy-Vee plain label brand.
the dollar clearance one that I buy all the time.
Oh man, we've gone off the rails.
Hey, I got you.
We were so deep into some serious Beatles talk and life and death, and
it just proves, Randy, you're the guy that reels us in. It just proves that even you can be taken off the beaten path.
Absolutely.
Out in the wild, there's one creature feared by hunters, admired by lumberjacks, and envied by hipsters.
Yeah, it's me, the elegant Sasquatch, and let me tell you, these locks don't tame themselves.
Introducing the Elegant Sasquatch Grooming Company. Beard oils, butters, and washes so good, they'll make your face smell like you wrestled a cedar tree while sipping fine whiskey.
Last week, a hiker followed me for 3 miles just to ask what cologne I was wearing. Joke's on him. I don't wear cologne. I wear the gentleman.
Upgrade your beard game. Sophisticate your outer beast. Find the Elegant Sasquatch Grooming Company at elegantsasquatchco.etsy.com.
And stop stealing my jerky!
Well, here's something, Randy. Here's something major that I saw. We just had him on the show not too long ago, but Nathan Wade. I saw on one of his posts that he actually did like a songwriters retreat thing in I believe South Dakota, maybe, and they loved what he did so much, and they love his body of work. They're actually going to induct him into the Dakota Country Music Hall of Fame. That's pretty cool, man. So we got another Hall of Famer that we had on the show. So shout out to you, Nathan Wade.
Absolutely. Congratulations. I love getting guests like Nathan. Like his story, like he was a journeyman story. Like he went through it all the ups and downs, and had found his way back to music. And see, look what coming back does. He's starting to get recognized, and I see that he's posting all the time. He's got a lot of new shows. I'm very, very happy for Nathan.
I would love to get a country night at with Nathan Wade and some other people at Matson's for sure. Or even get like a songwriters round table going. I would love to get in on some of that action and maybe just try to write some songs with some musicians. So if anybody out there wants that to happen, please contact Matson's Bowling and Billiards, or honestly, get a hold of us at scratchthevinylpodcast@gmail.com. All you have to do is wish it into the universe, and we're going to make it happen.
We do tend to make things happen. That's what's crazy. And I'll shout out to Sarah and Brady right now from Matson's, who, guess what? We were talking about Thanksgiving. They had me come down and do a little karaoke show after literally feeding hundreds of people for free for Thanksgiving. They were giving back to the community. So happy to be a part of that. They're wonderful people trying to do what they can. And we're creating a lot of music connections with over there. So,
well, just in general, I feel like the music networking that we've created just through this, what we're doing, it's had a major impact. I mean, Mike Semrad himself, the man about the town, right? The man, the myth, the legend, has given us high praise for what we're doing for the local and the Nebraska music scene. And that means a lot to me. I mean, here's a guy who is inducting people into the Hall of Fame, who's a Hall of Fame, person himself. His dad's a Hall of Famer. And here we are, we're getting praise from them. So I feel really good. I'm not very good at like praising myself, but I say this time, Randy, we kind of like, we give ourselves a little pat on the back and maybe a little self hug. I think that because of you guys listening out there, I think that we're making an impact.
well, I definitely know we're making an impact, and I guess this show being a little bit post Thanksgiving and what we were thankful for, I'm just going to say it. I love that how our audience is growing and the people that are paying attention and the messages we get on our Facebook page and how much our TikTok is growing exponentially. And quite frankly, I'm blown away by how many people that follow us around the world. Like, you know, we just looked at those analytics and to see how many people we have over in Europe and Asia and Africa. I'm just crazy.
Yeah, we really do. We're not just BSing you guys. We really do have a good following, especially in Germany and Sweden. There are groups of people listening in these circles there, and they're listening every week. I mean, I don't know what they dig about this the little podcast that could, but you know what? They must dig it and they must understand and really get that this is just a love of music and musicians and really anything that has to do with it. This is the biggest music love podcast you could ever be a part of. Like, I know Randy feels the same way I do. Music has got us through everything. I mean, if it wasn't for music, I mean, granted, family and everybody too, of course. I mean, don't discount them. But I'm saying when it comes down to sitting alone and being on the ledge, if it wasn't for music, even sad music, I would have never made it, man. I would have never made it. So it's just so refreshing to have all you guys. And we're not only having that, Randy, but we're picking up sponsors too. We just picked up a new sponsor. Let's talk about that right now.
Yeah. Loco Design.
Loco Design. Yeah, you spell it, Randy. Give them the sauce, man.
Loco, LOHCO, Loco Design. We've just picked them up as a brand new sponsor. We appreciate them. And like, it just, again, another example how we're growing a little bit by little bit. And
let's talk about what they are, Randy. They're a design company. You can go to locodesign.com, and on there you can they not only design logos and different things for you, but they also work on marketing and branding, and they're basically masters. They're basically samurais or ninjas when it comes to this sort of thing. And I personally know them. I like to have a good connection with the people that we work with.
And I believe they've been in the business for 25 years.
They've been in the business, and they're making it's locodesign.com, just so that I'm clear on that. So if you guys need branding of some sort, I would definitely get a hold of them and get a hold of Adam and just have them kind of you explain to them what your world is and what you're trying to create. And I guarantee they're going to give you everything that you want and more.
And I promise, Adam, we will come up with a formal commercial for you on the show. But we want to give you a shout out for joining the Scratch the Vinyl team and promoting us. And they're music fans, so that's they found us via listening to the show.
Yeah, they're music fans, and I think we might even have Adam come in to studio for the show. I think Adam is also a musician, so he definitely gets what we're trying to do here and appreciates it. And it's just so cool to have fans of the show pony up and want to be sponsors. So big things coming, everybody. There's massive things coming. It's a great time to be alive. We have Christmas coming up. I can't think of better times than right now, except for maybe Halloween, but we already went through that. So so now I'm on to Christmas.
Well, we're gonna have Pete Waters, the owner of the Zoo Bar, legendary Zoo Bar here in Lincoln. I mean, you talk about jazz and blues and history here in Lincoln. The Zoo Bar is one of those places.
Well, yeah, we have an exciting lineup coming up. I mean, we have some people returning. We have some new guests coming on. We have bands contacting us all the time, and that's nice. Especially for me as a producer, it's really great because I don't have to seek you guys out as hard now. You guys are starting to catch the fire, catch the word, and you're getting a hold of us. If you are a band or somebody tied into music, or you're someone who owns a venue or any of that stuff, or want to come on the show for some reason, even if you want to confront me and tell me you cannot do Meat Feet, Cain, not you of all people, then we will have you on and we'll have a healthy debate and we'll talk about it. So you want to get a hold of us, once again, get a hold of us at scratchthevinylpodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget our socials, which is everything is Scratch the Vinyl podcast out there. And word on the street is, Randy, we're going to be having a website out there real soon where you can listen to all of our episodes there. If you don't want to pay for Spotify or any of these things, you can go to our website and you can listen to all of it. And you can, maybe there'll be some cool stuff on there. Maybe there might even be some merch. I don't know. That's the joy of us having our own website. Is the sky's the limit.
Well, of course, now you'll be able to link all the way to our basically all of our live streams and our video stuff on YouTube. And so, we've pretty much now put the podcast out on live video. So now, again, go to YouTube and Scratch the Vinyl podcast and subscribe. Hit that bell. Get the notifications. Check out the new episodes. The one thing I do like about the website, it's going to have all of our episodes in order. You'll find it a lot easier. You'll be able to understand a little bit more what each episode's about. And you'll be able to go through our library. I mean, shoot, Cain, what number are we on?
Oh, man, this is like what? This is like 83 or 84. I'd have to look.
Oh, yeah, we're getting close to that 100 mark.
We are. That's the benchmark right there. Me as a producer and been on many podcasts, the goal is always 100, but it's a hard number to hit. I don't think people understand. A lot of people approach me and they say, I want to start a podcast and I love this. And I'll tell you guys this. I'll give you a little bit of insider advice. It's all about regularity. It's all about doing it every week. And it's not easy to do every week. I mean, if your tummy's hurt, if you're not feeling right, your kids are sick at home, all these things add up. You got to do the podcast no matter what every week. And if you don't, keep one in the can. So there's your inside information. That will be a nickel if you want to give that to me. If you see me out on the streets, just hand me that nickel and I'll be on my way.
I'll also give a shout out to Ron Thackeray. We just met with Ron a couple weeks ago from Live Local, who literally promotes all live music in this area. So we, check out Live Local as well. We want here's the thing. Our show, we want everybody to connect back with live music and what's going on in the scene around here. And so we're not just about ourselves on this. We want everybody to find their way to whatever music they're looking for.
Right. There's no ego with this show. It really is about connecting everybody and dialing you into the scene. This is why we started it. It's our love of music and it's our love of local music. And we're just so passionate about it. I think Lincoln owes guys like Randy, who were pumping up the scene and giving people a place to play, a lot of credit in shaping the scene. But now, it's just so nice to have Randy on board to where we can talk about all this stuff. And you guys, if you're trying to buy a bar or you want to be a musician like I was, and still am, we give you that insider information. So yeah, Randy, it's been a blast. I know here in closing, we're dialing up on that end of the show type thing, but this has been fun.
Yeah, look, I always love it when me and you just get to sit down and talk about our favorite music stuff. Hell, I thought maybe we were even going to get into some of the new Billy Corgan stuff. And of course, I've been following along a lot with, since Ace Frehley passed away. Billy Corgan has a podcast show where he interviews, rock stars. And I just saw what he did with Paul Stanley that I thought was really, really good.
Well, now you piqued my interest, Randy. Now we have to at least mention it. Not that Billy needs the money or needs the ego boost, but I mean, Billy Corgan's doing huge things, right? They're releasing that 30th, what is it? The 30th anniversary.
Yep. Of Infinite Sadness he's turning it into like an orchestra or a theatrical version.
Yeah. I can't wait for this, Randy. I really hope I'm going to wish upon my lucky stars. I'm going to clutch my Billy Corgan plushie and cry and hold him at night and ask, please, Billy Corgan, will you put this out on vinyl? Because of the second that they do, I'm buying it. I mean, one of my favorite, two of my favorite albums of all time are Metallica's S&M 1 and 2, where they play with the live symphony and they do all of that. And I love that tie together, which is why I love like the live Carpenters albums where they kind of do the same thing. And so I can only imagine how cool it would be to listen to Mellon Collie and the Infinite Sadness as an orchestral masterpiece.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. I can't wait. It'd be awesome if it would come out here soon and you could have a little present under the tree.
Maybe my wife will buy me this new set. Like she just bought me that 25th anniversary deal, and I thumbed through all of that. But now I'm like, but Billy put out more. They did more,
Yeah.
so I've got to see what else they put on this.
Sorry, Alicia, it's not going to be in the dollar bin.
Maybe I'll resell the 25th, but I doubt it. I'll trade the 25th for the 30th or whatever. I'm probably wrong on the anniversary dates, but anyway, it's something like that. It's got to be 30 years.
It's 30 years.
Yeah.
How about before we close out, we get nerfed all the time on our social stuff, but I want to point out that Cain put out a special cartoon meme on our social page that basically it's him booting his wife out of the car to make more room for vinyl records. And I warned him. I said, don't get put in the doghouse here before Christmas.
Well, yeah, I my wife did notice it. She did eye roll me as soon as she saw it. So that was enough to tell me, shame on you, Cain. Shame on you.
Cain, you have to learn how to throw me under the bus when it's appropriate. Oh, that was Randy's idea.
Yeah, Randy sent me the meme. I just put it out. I didn't know.
Of course, she knows you. She'd be like, Cain, no more. Oh, well, you want to get out of here?
I think it's time, everybody. We so appreciate you guys for listening. We can't tell you guys enough how much it means to us to have you guys on board, but we want you guys to stay on board for this party train that never stops. And we want you guys to do it. Catch us here on the flip side every week here on
Scratch the Vinyl. Scratch the Vinyl.